Hello, Andrew Larson's Film Review Channel, back again with a review of a great new movie. This time it's Halloween Ends, the third part of David Gordon Green's and Danny McBride's Halloween trilogy. Spoiler-free review. I'm not the biggest Halloween fan in the world. I've seen Halloween. I've seen Halloween 2. I've seen Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, my favorite of the movies. Then I skipped over the rest of them. I haven't seen those. Then I've seen Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I've seen Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills and this new one. I'm a big John Carpenter fan. Love a lot of his movies, but Halloween is not one of my favorites of his movies. I have a lot of problems with the movie Halloween, and the problems I have with the movie Halloween carry over to pretty much every other movie that has Michael Myers in it. I'm just not a big fan of the Michael Myers concept. Not scared of the Boogeyman. I don't get whether he's a man or whether he's some kind of a magic man. In the very first Halloween movie, of course, it's just Michael Myers is the shape, and he's a guy, but he doesn't die at the end magically, and it doesn't make any sense. And I mean, the time that movie came out, that was something that had an effect on audiences. They were like, oh, it's scary because he can't die. Watching that movie nowadays, when he doesn't die, it really takes me out of the movie, and it ruins a lot of the experience of that movie for me. Not a big fan of that movie. I don't like a lot of the pretentious stuff about the Boogeyman and the fear. And all those flaws I have about the original Halloween are magnified to an extreme extent in these new Halloween films from David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. I'm not a David Gordon Green hater. I've seen his first movie, George Washington. I watched that maybe when I was in middle school or something. Just watching random movies. Didn't leave a big impression on me. I didn't hate it though. It seemed like a well-made movie. Then in high school, Pineapple Express came out. I watched that in the theaters. Had a great time. Still have a lot of respect for that movie. I like the ultra violence at the end. I like the genre flair throughout the whole picture. One of the better Apatow movies. I'm even an apologist for the movie Your Highness. So when they announced that David Gordon Green was going to be in charge of a new Halloween movie, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him personally, I thought that was going to be pretty cool because he is an auteur. He was going to be in charge of the script and the movie. It was going to be a Blumhouse thing where he'd have a lot of creative control. And that movie came out, and I didn't like it a whole lot at all. But I put off judging it because I knew that it was going to be a whole trilogy. Now I've seen Halloween Kills, and I've seen Halloween Ends. I've seen all three of the movies. I'm ready to judge them all, and I think they're all pretty terrible. Halloween 2018 is the best one. Halloween Kills is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Halloween Ends is better than Halloween Kills, worse than Halloween 2018. Pretty bad movies. Don't watch them. Spoiler review. Halloween 2018 started off with the concept of Laurie Strode dealing with the trauma of Michael Myers 50 years later or whatever. She's still dealing with this crap. She can't get over it. And that wasn't very relatable or realistic in my eyes. And that was a big flaw of that movie. And it only gets worse and worse and worse over the course of these three pictures. As many critics have already pointed out ad nauseum, it doesn't make a lot of sense how the residents of Haddonfield are viewing these murders that happened so many years ago. A lot of people get murdered all the time. What occurred in Halloween would have been a spree killing, and that's pretty common. If you're involved in the spree killing, you'll probably get over it in a year or two. Not 30, 40, 50 years. You aren't still going to be thinking about it when you're an old person. This is not normal. This is not a relatable series of films, and it's very strange. These movies are insanely unrealistic, and they're also really, really pretentious and very serious, overly serious. They keep hitting home this message that, like, fear infects people and turns them into the boogeyman. So this new Halloween Ends, there's a new character introduced, Corey Cunningham, and he sucks. If you want to see an unlikable, horrible character in a movie, look at Corey Cunningham. Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. Her daughter, Judy Greer, died in the last movie, Halloween Kills, and now she's living alone with her granddaughter. The granddaughter becomes romantically involved with this Corey Cunningham character. When Laurie Strode sees this Corey Cunningham character, she has this woman's intuition, and she's like, I can tell, I can see Michael Myers in his eyes. Corey Cunningham stumbles into a hole in a sewer where Michael Myers is hiding out, and they form some kind of a weird bond, spiritual bond. Corey Cunningham's really weak, and he's bullied a lot. He's like a 23-year-old man, 22-year-old, 23-year-old man, and he's getting bullied by high school kids. What is that? What is that? So anyone he doesn't like, he like lures them into the hole, and he has Michael Myers murder him. And then later in the movie, he really becomes the Boogeyman for real. He starts killing people too. So most of the movie is Corey Cunningham, and Michael Myers is a pretty small part. And it's a creative choice on David Gordon Green and Danny McBride's part to show how fear moves on. It infects people, and now Corey Cunningham is the new Michael Myers, and that's how Michael Myers is really immortal, even though he is actually immortal, and sometimes not. A bunch of crap. And these movies are full of the stupidest characters. David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, they live in a small little Hollywood bubble. These movies are all full of people that don't know how to use guns. It's really weird. Full of people that can't throw a punch. They don't know how to do anything. It's really bizarre and unrelatable. These movies are overly serious with the stupid message, but at the same time, they're full of this offensive humor, I'm going to say. Just silly, gay, silly black characters. I don't understand. Why are all these movies full of silly black and silly gay caricatures? It's gross. The instances in all three of these movies where Michael Myers killed people weren't terrible, but they were such a small part of the overall thing, and they were not worth sitting through the slog. All the false meaning. I like Judy Greer. Didn't like when she died, and I don't like that she wasn't in this last one. But still, this last one was better than Halloween Kills. I don't like how nostalgic these movies are. Every single time there was a reference in any of these movies, I was physically repulsed. Stop talking about Michael Myers. Stop talking about the murders. Stop. Stop introducing these new characters from the other movies. Then when this Halloween Ends came around, I was like, stop introducing these new characters that aren't in the other movies. Stop everything. Truly some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.